everybody. Welcome to our webinar, all about creating your dream career. Thanks so much for joining me. I am live from beautiful Lagos. I landed yesterday. And if you don't know me, my name is Vumile Msweli. I hail from the beautiful city of Durban in the eastern part of South Africa. I am a career coach and I'm the CEO of Hesed Consulting. A little bit about me, in case you don't know, is I spent the better part of my career in the financial sector. So I've done everything from operations to strategy. I studied accounting, did my honors in finance, did my MBA at the University of London in the United Kingdom, and I'm currently studying my doctorate in applied leadership and coaching. So I'm really, really passionate about coaching and really helping women see themselves empowered in their careers and really achieving what it is that they want to achieve within their careers. So our entire conversation today is really going to be about how do you go about creating your dream career. So first things first, should you have any questions, please reach out to us at She Leads Africa on Twitter and at my handle at Vumile Msweli, spelled V-U-M-I-L-E, M for mother, S for sugar, W-E-L-I on Twitter, and we will be answering all your questions. The first starting point for me is really going to be about what is your dream career? And I think there's a massive mistake so many of us make. When we're thinking about our dream career, we tend to think, I want to be the CEO, I want to be the chief of operations. We don't really think technically what does that involve on a day-to-day basis. There's a fantastic exercise for my coaching clients, which is what does your dream day look like? So if you're waking up this morning and you're going to your dream job, what does that entail? So start it back to basics. Do you leave your house or do you work in your pajamas? Are you going to get a driver to drive you somewhere? Are you leading a team? Are you out and about or are you stuck in an office? Whatever that is, you have to really, really get into granular detail as to what does that look like. Not what are you doing, but how does your day look like in this dream career of yours? That's the first step, really, really defining that. The second step for me is the technical aspects. What are you doing? What is the impact that you are having on a day-to-day basis? What problems are you solving in your chosen career? This is a very difficult question for a lot of people to answer because you're still stuck in the space of this is what I do in the office every single day, not necessarily what you really, really aspire to. And this can really be a 5 to 10 year goal. So you've got your dream day, what that looks like. The second aspect for me is then creating your technical dream job spec. This job spec will be based on what you've said in your dream career. Response, unpack that. What are you, who are you responsible for? How responsible for achieving it? Do you know what this is like when you're responsible? Please note, I still haven't discussed any titles with regards to this. I've said titles, pure responsibilities. Once you've unpacked what this would look like, and a good place would potentially look like is leveraging the likes of LinkedIn, Career Junction, or any other career website, where you can take a look at what a formal job spec looks like. Use that as a template to then feed into what your dream job looks like, still with no. Once you've seen what your dream day looks like, now you've got your dream job spec looks like, start having conversations with recruiters. People who are in the industry, listen, this is the kind of work I'd like to do, the opportunity. This is probably a masterty. The best thing at dream jobs was to work in a Pan-African organization, to do a lot of traveling, to really, really make an impact across the continent. And the job I ended up getting was client services partner at Vodafone. I did not know what that actually entailed. So from my perspective, don't focus on the title, focus on the roles and responsibilities. So I've been getting quite a few questions in engaging with clients to say that, Vumi, I am in a space where I actually don't like my current. There's a massive challenge, specifically around us as millennials, where we are wanting to get to our next position rather quickly, rather than acquiring the skills. Please note this, guys, when designing your dream career, it is a career. A career is a lifelong journey. And the reality is that most of us will be in our careers for less than 20 years. The average person changes their careers 4 to 5 times in a lifetime. But every skill set used then transposes itself onto the next job and career. I hope you're finding this helpful. So we have now done covering what your dream day looks like. We then go on to cover what your dream job spec looks like. The next is a skills gap analysis. What do I mean by this? If you know where it is that you're wanting to go versus where you currently are, you must do an intense skills gap analysis. Whip out your current job spec. What does that look like versus where it is that you're wanting to be? How does that look like? What is missing? You start quickly unpacking that you might want to be CEO, but you've never led a team, and you're currently an analyst without any teammates to lead. Or you might find that you're wanting to be in strategy, but you're in a very tactical space. You need to be able to analyze for yourself where the gaps are. And that's the beauty of starting out your career, is that you can quickly say, this is where I am. So this job of being an analyst is teaching me A, B, C, D as a skill set. But where I'm wanting to be is really in a strategic level. To be able to be successful as a CEO or as an executive in any industry, you need to be able to really work in 3 different levels. The first is pure administration, really understanding the ins and outs of admin work and how that actually is rolled out. One, because it helps you to understand how processes work, and if you don't know the rules, how can you potentially ever break them? The second is operational level, which is when most, I would say, junior to middle managers tend to play in that operational space, and beneath them is also tactical. So when you are in admin, just in between that, junior managers are usually also in tactical. So trying to solve problems from a tactical perspective as they arise on the ground. Very reactionary style of leadership, very reactionary responsibility. So we've got administration here, tactical here, operational here, and then of course at the top is strategy. So that's where most of us are wanting to be when we're wanting to disrupt and really create innovation within our spaces, is creating strategic work for ourselves. To be able to do that, these are building blocks. It is difficult to be strategic when you don't understand what the administrative implications are going to be, what the tactical rollout will be, and operationally how something is going to run. So when you're starting out your career or you're in a space where you're highly frustrated with where you are, remember that they are building blocks. You don't know what you don't know. You cannot leapfrog straight to strategy without having a great understanding of what those other building blocks are going to be. There's been a large amount of questions coming in as to the frustration, but not realizing that in trying to completely leapfrog, it's not going to work. You have to earn your stripes going from one block to the other. Okay, so I'm hoping you guys are really enjoying this. If you have any questions, please make sure that at She Leads Africa on Twitter, as well as at Vumile Msweli, VUMILE MSWELI. Okay, so I wanted to touch on really going back again to, for those of you who've just joined us, I'm going to do a quick recap. We've spoken about creating our dream day. So what does your day look like if you're waking up to go to your dream career, and really getting granular as to what it looks and feels like. Then we spoke a little about creating our dream job spec, so key roles and responsibilities, and what the aim of the job without specifically stating what that title is. The next step that we've also covered is reaching out to people in the industry who are recruiters and saying, this is my skill set, this is ideally the job spec I'm looking for, and comparing it to other job specs and starting to find a commonality. And from that exercise, you then also start to quickly realize that you are here, your dream job requires this kind of skill set after having a conversation with the recruiter, which allows you to do a skills gap analysis for you to know what it is that you are requiring to do well. I'm going to use a personal anecdote here as to how I did that. So I always had a mini dream job of being sitting on a board. Where I was still very much in junior middle management, so very involved in tactical and operational, but wanting to get exposure to strategic work and be, board member on either non-profit or a listed company. So what I did is I quickly created this dream job spec of what that would look like. I then went on to see, using LinkedIn, guys, Google is everything, it gives me life. Googling and using LinkedIn to see which people were actually doing the job I wanted to do. And the power of LinkedIn is you're able to see someone's entire curriculum vitae. So you can see exactly what their qualifications are. So I was using my then, one of my people that I really admire, mentor, Cindy Mabasto, taking a look at what she's done and achieved. I quickly realized that she had an undergrad in accounting, she then did an MBA, and the kind of role she'd taken had been very much in the financial space, and the kind of role she was sitting at board in was very much in the financial space. I could see where I was. I could see that I did not have an honors degree. I did not have a master's degree. And as such, I also wasn't getting much exposure in the financial sector, which is required for me to be able to sit in a finance board. I then because I conducted my skills gap analysis, I knew what my dream job was, and I could now see who someone else had done and achieved what I'm looking to do already. So I didn't have to really reinvent the entire wheel. I could replicate based on her learnings, something that could work for me, and obviously tweak and adjust it for my own situation. So I use typical old school academia to really upskill myself into that level. And then I was able to finally sit on a few boards, which were not necessarily listed, but were nonprofit, where I also saw she had started, to give myself the exposure that I required. So guys, once again, it is a little hashtag moment at the moment. It's don't reinvent the wheel. Make sure that you're able to replicate what someone else has done according to your dream job. Another tool that I had a little bit about that I think people really is the power of sponsorship. So there are three things you're going to need to be able to position your well. Once you know and you've done those exercises of knowing where it is that you're wanting to be, what your career is going to look like. One of the three things that can help really leapfrog yourself and your learning, besides the skills gap analysis, is to leapfrog that gap, will be coaching, mentoring, and sponsorship. I'll start with mentoring. A mentor is someone whose experience, once shared with you, will help you leapfrog your learning. And I'm of a very controversial view when it comes to mentorship. I'm of the opinion that it's very difficult to walk up to a complete stranger and say, hi, mentor me. It's almost like going to a boy you like and saying, hi, marry me. You really, really have to do a little bit more unpacking than that. I would suggest that the first thing you do is craft a really, really smart and intelligent question that you want answered. I would then reach out to people that you admire, that you think have the skill set that you're really lacking and can help leapfrog your learning. Identify 3 to 4 people. Reach out to them and say, hi, I'm Vumi, and I would really like to pick your brain. This is a question I've gotten. If we could have maybe a 15-minute coffee session, and we can unpack it a bit further. What that allows is for you to have 3 to 4 different perspectives as to answering this question. It also allows for an organic conversation to happen. So you can quickly learn that to me and this person gel. It's almost like dating for a mentor. Is there chemistry? Is there something I can learn from this person's conversation in 15 minutes? Be polite, guys. Try to not exceed 30 minutes. Often the people that we aspire to be like are very, very busy. So keep it 15 to 30 minutes, have a great conversation, because once that's done, you're able to establish rapport, you get your question answered, and you can decide if there really is chemistry and if you want to go forward with a mentorship relationship. It allows for organic mentorship to occur. The second piece for me would be the sponsorship piece. And there's been quite a lot of questions around getting a corporate sponsor. Sponsorship is not something you can apply for. In essence, I would define sponsorship as ambassadorship. A sponsor for you is someone who, when you're not there, behind closed doors, is your brand ambassador. They will speak on your behalf, almost like old school style marketing of word of mouth. They sing your praises. They open doors for you. They negotiate on your behalf. This is very, very important, but unfortunately, it's not something you can ask for. You can't ask like think of any big brand. Imagine if the likes of a ShopRite all of a sudden started asking its customers, go tell people how wonderful we are. It's impossible. It's really by pure reputation, hard work, and how people experience you that people are willing to be your brand ambassadors. It is earned. Corporate sponsorship cannot be requested. It is purely earned. So I hope you guys get clarity with regards to sponsorship. The third one is coaching, which is where I specialize in. And when I look at the likes of coaching and what it actually means, think of a football match, so a soccer match. The coach is not in the field with you. So we're not arriving with you at work every single day, but we develop and craft a strategy with you that you will be able to execute. The moment that you're trying to execute and there's a bit of trouble and we're seeing some challenges come your way, we are quickly then pulling you aside, helping you refocus based on our expertise of having had millions of people, thousands of people be in the similar or same position as you. So a coach is an expert in a particular topic who then helps you execute your strategy for success in the workplace. So three things: mentor helps you learn from based on their experience and works very well as an organic relationship. Second thing, sponsorship. Someone who is your brand ambassador, sings your praises, and opens doors for you and works very well as within your own organization. And third, a coach, which you can look for online. And I'm sure I've seen that we've got quite a lot of people from across the continent. You guys feel free to inbox me if I'm not in your country. I've got a great network of career coaches who will be able to assist you. So those are the top three that I would say really, really help you position your career. The fourth tool I want to touch on a little bit, which for me is fundamentally irreplaceable, is the power of networking. Networking is critical for positioning within your organization. Often when we start talking about networking, people think that they have to leave the organization and meet people from other industries in order to build a brand. I don't think so. I think it is very good to start at home. There's a little trick I'm going to teach you that helped me really, really reposition myself and how I'm viewed within all the organizations I've worked for historically, my brand. I would take 30 minutes a week to make sure I'm engaging with someone in the organization that I ordinarily would not engage with. So whether that person is a junior staff member all the way to CEO, it allowed me to get different perspectives of the organization I was working for, the culture, and how people know who I am. Our biggest challenge often as women specifically is that we see a job space, an opportunity, and we critique ourselves thinking, if I do not meet 80% of those requirements, I'm not going to reach out. Whilst our male counterparts say, I reach 40%, I'm going to reach out and take a chance. Do not wait to be at executive level to be engaging with your CEO. Invite him or her for a cup of coffee. Say, I'd like to pick your brain. Where do you see the organization going? Make sure you craft your questions strategically, remembering that you might still be at that admin tactical space and he's thinking strategically. So make sure that your question covers both strategy, tactical, operational, as well as administrative in your world. So asking a question like, what is the strategy for us going? I'm seeing our competitors are doing A, B, C, D, or I'm seeing there's a lot of disruption happening in our particular industry. How are we going to address these particular challenges? One, you're starting to think, what keeps my CEO awake at night? So you're thinking at his level. You're able then to have a conversation as to his idea of problem solving. How does that translate into your day-to-day job? This allows you to also start having conversations, not only at CEO strategic level, not only at your admin level, but also the level just above you. So the level where your manager is or your supervisor is. Once you're starting to think like they would think, seeing what keeps them awake at night, it allows you to have more strategic conversations, not just day-to-day work. With your network and people starting to know who you are within not only your organization, but also in your industry. So guys, we use LinkedIn for this. Use LinkedIn. Who are the thought leaders in your space? who are the people who are fundamentally changing the face of what it looks like to be a professional in your space or an entrepreneur in your space. Reach out to those people so they start knowing you on a one-to-one basis. And don't limit yourself only to your city. The power of Skype, Google Hangouts, reach out to people across the continent and even globally. Use LinkedIn. Say, hi, I'd really like to chat to you with regards to how you're seeing our industry going. It's a 15, 20 minutes chat. You get new insights, fresh perspectives that you then bring into your workplace. So the level of your conversation changes from, yes, I signed the report, to all of a sudden the strategic positioning of where it is that the organization and the industry is going. The fifth thing is step up, guys. We've been told a lot by the likes of Sheryl Sandberg to lean in, but for me, it's step up. It is doing more than what is asked of you. There's a big facade or misconception that that excelling in what are at work are enough. That is not enough to take your career to the next level. Start thinking, like we spoke about a little bit earlier, strategically and really, really stepping up. But also, when you're going to step up, make sure that you're asking for more quality of work that will fill that skills gap that you currently have. A good example of this in my own career was, I remember I started working at the call center, the contact center at a bank. And I complained about how our processes looked. I was very unhappy. And I recall complaining to the then CEO, saying, you know what, this doesn't work, how can we do this better, complaining. And he then empowered me and said, Vumi, it seems like you've got a lot to say about this, own it. What that required from me was coming into work about 2-3 hours earlier and working on a project as a call center agent to redefine the customer experience, one of the largest banks in South Africa. That got me exposure not only internally, so all of a sudden I'm starting to work with our marketing guys, our sales, our back office executives, but it also started getting me exposure from clients, which then actually resulted in me getting a job at the institution based on a client who said, you know, Vumi is brilliant in operations. She's the person who could probably fix your problems in this organization. So step up, guys. Create projects for yourself that go beyond the scope of your normal day-to-day work, because it allows you exposure to other areas. It helps you really fill in that gap that you currently have within your skills gap analysis that you've identified, and it will help you in the long run. It helps improve your thinking from whatever level you are. If you're strategic, having those conversations with the admin guys or the tactical guys as well as operational guys. So it really, really leapfrogs your own learning from that perspective. Guys, if you've got any questions, make sure that you are sending them to us on Twitter at She Leads Africa, as well as to myself at Vumile Msweli. I've been writing a little bit and really, really passionate about this Japanese concept called Ikigai. And I'm wanting to share it with you because I find that many of us are frustrated with regards to where our careers currently are because we haven't found our Ikigai. So what is an Ikigai? It sounds like a sushi meal, but not quite. So the Ikigai is a very, very sweet spot in one's career. The Ikigai touches 4 particular pillars. Finding what the world needs. Like any business, we are solving a problem for something that is not currently being answered. What does the world need? And please don't we look at the world. So we look at your own community, we look at your own country, your own continent, globally. What is required? What does it need? What is there an absence of? The second is, what are you good at? So we all naturally have an inclination and talents and abilities that just come naturally to us, that aren't so much effort required. So if you're the kind of person who's naturally analytical, you're the kind of person who, like me, can see problems and really break them down into smaller chunks, you're the kind of person who is not afraid to jump in front of a crowd and entertain people. It's something that you're naturally good at. The third thing is, what do you get paid for? So what is someone, yourself, the market, your organization, willing to pay for? So some of you, it's your current job, you're obviously getting remunerated for it. So what does the world need? What are you good at? What are you willing to get paid for? And then the fourth thing, which so many of us feel we have to sacrifice in building our careers, what do you love? What do you love? What sets your soul ablaze with passion when you're doing? That gives you so much joy, that literally fires your belly, that makes you smile, that you would do for free because you've got so much passion for it. Those four things, what the world needs, what you're good at, what you're being paid for, what you love, when those merge, that place is not just profession or vocation. That sweet spot, the Japanese call the Ikigai. We've often heard the nice term, the nice quote that, you know, find something you love, you'll never work a day in your life. It is that feeling when you find your Ikigai. So I just want to really emphasize this. What the world needs, because it gives you a sense of purpose, that it's not just about the money. Guys, money is important, we love it, we need to spend it. How else do we buy shoes? But what does the world need? It gives us purpose. What are you good at? Because it's effortless. You're not going against the current. You're in flow. What are you willing to be paid for? Because no one wants to work for free. That's called volunteering. So what can you be remunerated for and earn? And what do you love? When those four combine, the power of Ikigai is born. That being said, often we are in spaces we don't love, and I think, like I've mentioned before, the career is an actual journey. We don't arrive there. So when you are doing the admin grunt work, remember this: you have to do, so you can do what you love to do. And even when you have your dream job, I can tell you this for free: I am living my best life doing my dream job. There's still aspects of it which are mundane and repetitive work. They are not my favorite things to do, but you have to do what you have to do so you can do what you love to do. And in earning your stripes and getting good at certain things, certain skill sets that you are mastering, it really, really allows you as a human being to get good at it, so it almost becomes second nature. We must remember something, guys. When we're good at something, it's almost like learning how to drive. When you first got your license, you were so nervous looking around, gear 1, gear 2, oh, this car might hit me. Now you can drive from your house to work or the office without thinking to yourself, how did I get here? Because it's become a subconscious ability so well you don't have to consciously think about it. That's how it feels like. It's effortless and you don't really have to think about it. So guys, I'm going to be answering a few questions at the moment. Once again, hit us up on Twitter at SheLeadsAfrica and at Vumile Msweli. So there are a few questions that have already been sent to us that I would like to really, really touch on. The first is Khotatso Masupie, who sent us this from Pretoria, South Africa. How best can one handle and or juggle working for someone, growing your business, and then you attend to you after your 9 to 5 while studying at the same time? Khotatso, I'm going to be very honest with you. This is all about prioritization for me. Prioritizing and managing your time well and sacrifice. So I'm a big believer in the concept of a portfolio lifestyle, or portfolio economics, where you don't get your earnings from one, but several streams of income. Studies have shown that most multimillionaires have 7 to 8 revenue streams, which means that they're doing more than one job. And more often than not, they're also actually studying, believe it or not. So for me, it's about how do you manage your time. I recall I'm going to have to use an anecdote from my own personal experience. When I was doing my honors in finance, I was working full time, and at the time I'd also started Hesed Consulting, which is my business, which really works with coaching people, that I was now doing part time. So I had to wake up a little bit earlier than everybody else. So as a result, you pick up the habit of waking up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, making sure you're getting your study in, going to work, and then often you're attending night classes. Sacrifices are made for just but a season. There's a beautiful Zulu saying that says, "Go get this too shall pass." Nothing is forever. So that 3-4 years where you are putting in the hard graft, not sleeping as much as you'd like to, not socializing as much as you'd like to, that really, really becomes your reality. There is no avoidance of executing. That really is what you have to do. And also being great at communicating with the people who are around you, saying, Friends, I would love to join you guys, but I can see you only on the 3rd because this is the time slot I've got. You sacrifice for 3 to 4 years whilst either building your business or studying and working at the same time to really then be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor post that. I've got a question regarding how do I get a corporate sponsor. I think I've touched on that already. If you're going to get a corporate sponsor, you can't really, you earn it. It is a brand ambassador for your brand. You can't ask someone to do it. You make sure that you are connecting with people, so you're leveraging your networks that we talked about with those 15 minutes to 30-minute coffee sessions. Make sure that you're using that a lot. The second thing is obviously making sure that when people know who you are, that the quality of your work speaks for itself, so people really, really start to talk about you when you're not there in a very positive manner. There's an interesting question here from Malcolm. Malcolm is in Sandton, Johannesburg. When do you know it's time to change your job? I think, Malcolm, if you are busy strategically creating your career, designing your career, you know what your dream job is. Once you've done a skill gap analysis and this job has fulfilled that skill that you are competent at a subconscious level, it's time to look for the next challenge because you're trying to get to a specific area. So if you've overstayed your welcome, it's redundant, it's boring, you're no longer thinking, I think it's time to take a look and say, one, can I expand myself, so grow laterally within my job by taking on additional projects? Can I go vertically by helping people below me to also grow? And am I ready to take on just above, vertically upwards, can I do my boss's job? When you're in that space, it's time to move on. Choma says she's got several things that she's passionate about, and they're quite lucrative. How does she know what's the one thing to focus on? And she says, secondly, she's a very timid person, too shy to even showcase what she does. It's a serious issue, and she needs help with this. Okay, I'm going to start with the being timid and shy. And I get this quite a lot with people saying to me, Vumi, I'm naturally an introvert. That being said, I would like to burst your bubble. 80% of CEOs of listed companies are introverts. So, meaning it is not natural for them to walk up to a complete stranger and start up a conversation. This is a learned skill. It's almost like we're talking about becoming subconsciously competent. I still am very much a person who I enjoy talking to people, recharging on my own, but I know that it is a skill that I've had to develop over time, how to walk into a room and form connections. You might find that naturally for you, you might do this better on a one-to-one basis versus groups, which is absolutely fine, but you have to practice starting having those conversations first in your immediate nucleus, people who know you and love you and are comfortable with you, and then spreading that also to extended family and friends, and then to complete strangers. Choma, I would like to challenge you to give yourself one new stranger a month that you're going to have a conversation with. Often, the worst thing that someone can say is, I'm sorry, I'm a little busy. You don't die from it. You feel like you die of shame on the inside, but you really, really master that skill of networking and connecting. It doesn't come naturally to all of us. It is a fantastic skill that we have to master. With regards to having numerous passions, I am a big believer in the pro-con list. So read right out all your different columns of them. Pros, cons. With the remuneration, passion fulfilled, do the Ikigai test, does it speak to all four of the various pillars that we've mentioned? And is it lucrative? Does it exist? Do a skills gap analysis for your organization, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. Look across it as if it was a mini business plan. Then look at the cons. For this particular idea, I don't think I'll be able to execute in this time. My priorities at this point are to get money as quick as possible. Or actually, this is a long-term hobby turned a career for me, so I'm willing to wait it out. You look at your pros, you look at your cons. Then you sit in all four of your different pros and cons, looking at your networks, which is the easiest to roll out and execute. And then also just taking a little bit of a deep breath and asking yourself, what resonates the most with me right now? What does the world need the most right now? I hope that helps you really make that decision. And I'm very happy that some of us are so inundated with joy and work that we love that we actually find it difficult to choose something. Here's another question, and this question is from Chamade, who is from Lagos, Nigeria. Oh, sorry, from Ibadan. How can one start afresh in life, especially in one's career? This is something we all have to really learn. Like I mentioned before, the average person will change their career 4 to 5 times. So get used to really changing your career. Once you know where it is that you're wanting to go, I think our entire discussion has really pretty much been about that. Is once you've identified where you're wanting your career to go, do the skills gap analysis, start exposing yourself to the industry or persons or thought leaders who are in the space that you're wanting to be. Often we think that by moving from one career to another, all the skills are lost. Skills are transferable. So if you are a financier, like I studied accounting, never practiced, and now I'm in a space of coaching, very much having finance conversations with my clients who are saying, oh, how do I negotiate my salary? I can quickly do tax calculations. So what I learned in accounting actually still serves me now. In the same way, whatever it is that you're learning currently is skill set that will most likely still serve you later. I'm a big believer the universe is ever wasted. Here's another question, and it comes from Lagos, Nigeria. How can I create a differentiation factor that can help my brand stand out from other brands? I love this question. How do you begin to differentiate yourself as a brand? So your personal brand within your career. That for me is starting back to basics. So word of mouth. So people who are engaging with you at work, how do you stand out to them? Do they see you as an expert or thought leader in the organization? Are people having a consistent experience with your brand across platforms? So if you're looking at yourself from your Facebook, your social media, LinkedIn, and live, is the experience the same? Is it consistent? Because you can't build a brand without consistency. Imagine if we walked into KFC. KFC cannot be different in Lagos versus how it might be in Nairobi versus how it might be in Tokyo. KFC is KFC is KFC. There must be consistency in your brand. How you begin to stand out is how people experience you when engaging. Your very nature is very, very unique to you. So there's also a misconception where people believe that you have to be boisterous and loud to be memorable. I fundamentally disagree. There's some strong brands, the likes of Tulima Johnson, South Africa's public prosecutor, who's a very soft-spoken lady, but who's very firm and very, very clear that her brand is all about integrity and being ethical, and it's consistent throughout. So please make sure that people are experiencing you consistently and that your messaging is the same. Meaning that if I'm talking to you about how do we solve this problem, your approach, your methodology is going to be consistent, and I know and expect and will experience excellence. So that's one of the quickest ways to create a differentiating brand. How do I keep myself motivated between studying and working full time? Sometimes it just seems impossible for me as a mother of two. From Precious Matole from Johannesburg, South Africa. Precious, motivation is a challenging one because often we'll go online or we'll go speak to someone or we'll join a webinar and we feel so enthused and invigorated and ready to take on the world, and it dwindles. So self-motivation, where the discipline and real life fundamentally meet, that is where the key is. And I think it works differently for different ones of us. So for me, it is about seeing my vision. So I've got a fantastic almost a frame about a rather large frame in my house. That's the first thing I see when I wake up, and it's my vision board. And and I change my vision board pretty much at the end of the year as well as on my birthday, which is usually close to mid-year. And it allows me to dream for the kind of life that I have. And it allows me to make a commitment to myself, and I commit to one thing every single day. I will purposefully and intentionally do one thing to achieve something on that board. It keeps that motivation going for me. Having a visual representation changes everything because you can then physically see what it is that you're doing. The second is having a board of directors for yourself and your life. So having people who will hold you accountable, and people who are experts in different things. When you look at any normal corporate, you'll find people who might be coming from the engineering question. You might find that people are in the finance sector. You might find that people are are in business administration, the expertise that they bring into your life is what you must use. So what do I mean by that? So if you know that you've got a friend who's a fitness fanatic, and she's always an Energizer bunny, she's always at the gym, make her accountable for making sure that you're doing your walks or your jogs twice a week that help you to stay energized and commit to and actually execute on what you've committed to doing. If you know that you've got a friend who, or someone that you admire, like your mentor, who is at a certain level in their career, make sure that you're making them help you be accountable for making sure that you're doing lifelong learning, that you are leapfrogging to get to where you're wanting to be in your own career. So getting a board of directors for your life really, really helps you, and vision board. That's what's helped me. How do I go about finding attainable opportunities? This is from Oyinlola from Lagos, Nigeria. Oh, sorry, that's from Newark, United States. Oyinlola. How do you go about finding attainable opportunities? That's a very, very interesting question to me. How do you go about attaining opportunities versus creating opportunities? I think the two are mutually exclusive. So how can we, one is identifying the opportunities. So if you see that there's an opportunity, who is the decision maker regarding to the accessibility for that opportunity? Do you have a relationship with this person? What is required that you don't have to be able to access that? So you quickly realize that, okay, there's an opportunity perhaps, let's say at work, for secondment. So secondment is going overseas for several months and working there. And I recall having a very recent discussion with one of my mentees regarding this, where she was excluded from it. And it really was about putting together a deck, a presentation to the decision maker saying, listen, this is an opportunity and I feel I'm fit for it because of A, B, C, D, and being able to market yourself. Guys, there's a massive tip that usually some of us forget, especially when we're in our corporate careers. Every single year, often there's a discussion about your performance. Your performance discussion to start talking about, oh, I've done well, this is what I've done. Throughout the year, have a separate file that talks to the excellence you've displayed throughout the year for someone to say you have achieved. So an opportunity already got proof of evidence, a body of work that proves that you are really ready for that role entity. And also, guys, don't just wait for opportunities, create them. I recall having a conversation with my former CEO for a job that didn't exist based on also my dream job, saying this is what I want to do, this is the country I want to do it in, and I pitched. And funny enough, I was not turned down. So do not be afraid of creating opportunities if you've got the body of work to prove it. Here's another interesting question from Dorcas from Nigeria. Okay, but Niger was a country. I'm a student at the University of Nigeria studying computer science and information technology, but I love fashion and acting, and I want to go into the industry, but at the same time, I will still need to start up a business and take care of myself in school. Honestly, I don't know what to do. Do you think I can do all three? I started business last session, my grades went down, and I don't like that. What should I do? I think you need to quickly decide what the priority is. If the priority is school, majority of your energy should be going towards school. If your priority is actually ending up in the fashion industry or starting a business, then you should be willing to make that sacrifice that your grades are going to go up. Are going to go down whilst you focus predominantly on that. You have to learn to prioritize. And if I'm of the opinion that, for me, getting good grades in school, making sure that you pass is probably would have been my initial priority, whilst creating a job, a business that might not necessarily be as successful as you'd like, based on your limited resources, the energy that you can focus on it, but you can be establishing. And I think this is true for also some of us who started our personal businesses. Like when I started His Said, I was still working. So my ability and energy of limited resources could not always be on His Said. They were also predominantly on my executive job. So looking at that and knowing that you're still building it slowly, it's not going to be you won't have as much momentum as you'd like, but you're clear on the trajectory that you're wanting to go. But once this is completed, then more energy can be focused on that. That would definitely be my advice. Prioritize and then distribute your resources as much as you would like based on your priority list. Okay, I think I've been talking a little bit about Hesed, and I haven't actually told you guys about Hesed Consulting. Hesed Consulting is my organization. It's a Pan-African organization, and we really help people with their careers to accelerate their learning and have their dream jobs. That's probably why I'm here talking to you guys today. There's another question here from Portal Court from Florence in Nigeria. I'm confused. I have many wannabes. I need clarity. My dreams are big. I just need direction. Guys, the problem sometimes about having so many ideas is you get frustrated that you are actually at a place where you do nothing. So you actually get frozen. And the only way to really get out of that is to once again do the pros and cons for all your wants, all your desires. Realize quickly that you can only do one thing at a time. You could do it, you could do it parallel, but focusing on one and mastering it and seeing where possible, because often our interests tend to intertwine. Where possible, intertwine, and so you get a more fulfilling perspective and view. I hope that answers your question, Florence. I've just got another question from T with TZA. I'm in media sales and I want to work my way up to marketing. The marketing colleagues are holding on to their jobs where I apply outside. I am boxed and I am approached for sales jobs. What do I do? The first thing, T, is I would want to find out from you, and I think you analysis. You're in media sales. Do you have the expertise for marketing? Are you willing to at times take a little bit of more a volunteering approach to get a little bit more exposure, which is always a good idea, which also helps you network accordingly across the industry. The reality is many of us, we are trained not for necessarily our expertise, so technical expertise, but when you get to a certain level, it's the strategy and the way of thinking which will allow you to move across. So once you know what it is that your expertise, so sales, so automatically understanding human psychology, how can you leverage that to play in the marketing space? And who do you know? Starting out even with smaller firms, saying, guys, I'd like to do some volunteering work. Actually, to take on a project as an extra piece of work for myself to prove to you the quality and the value that I bring. When people see the value that you bring, it's very easy to walk away from it. My CV is responding. I haven't worked with strategies, etc. Although I offer marketing management solutions, it's frustrating. That's very good feedback. So you've got a marketing background, but you don't have experience. The only way to get experience is to get experience. So T, I would definitely advise that you reach out to smaller agencies and see what projects that